I'm going to be asking us quickly. How many of us have come across the term gamification? How many of us know what this is about? You can just raise your hands. Tell me, you know about gamification. Have you heard about it? Is this something that you know? Is this something that you've heard? Is this something that you use in your classroom? Okay, let me hear you, Morel.
Thank you, La Prof. Thank you for what you are doing for ELT. Nice job. Gamification for me is a kind of not only introducing game in our classroom, but learning while playing. And what I can say about it is that not only tech is involved, but we have many games that we can perform in low resources area like Benin Republic and our sub.
Yeah, can you continue? Or I guess we lost Morel. Okay, anybody else that wants to? Okay, I can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you now. Okay, so I guess we actually lost Morel there, but a lot of things that we talked about and that makes it more interesting. Eric, let's hear from you. What do you think gamification, the last session, I'm very sure you attended it, the one on board games. What do you think? The ideas that were shared, are there things that you can actually do in your classroom? Okay, Mr. Eric.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Well, greetings from Costa Rica. Well, actually, it's a pleasure for me to be here with all of you, sharing this experience using games in my classroom. And well, in my case, I really like to implement some activities, interactive activities, online activities, for example, that can be very interesting for my students. That's my idea, to be here with you, learning more about what kind of strategies, platforms I can use in my classes. And for example, in my case, I really like to use Nearput. That's the one I really love to use in my classes. And also I have some online games, some online resources, very useful. The ones that I implement to teach different subjects or contents in my classes. And that's why I am here, just to learn more and what else I can implement. So here in Costa Rica, it's at noon. It's noon here, and good evening there.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'm so happy that it was a great learning experience for you. And I could see your excitement even from when we started, how you were able to like make a lot of contribution later in the group and saying that it was an exciting session and all that. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Okay, so today is going to be another one. The speaker is going to be joining us shortly, and it's quite different because we're now taking it gradually. So we started with the physical things, what you can do in your classroom, how you can actually use games in your classrooms. We talked about board games. And one interesting thing that was shared was the fact that there are different kinds of board games. And it was wonderful. You can go and watch the replay on Facebook and be able to see the different kinds of board games that he himself has designed. And it just makes it a lot interesting, and it just makes us understand the fact that it's doable. It's something that can happen. Like I keep on saying, I have students in my classroom, and trust me, if we're doing any activity, or if we're learning a new concept, once it involves games, you'll be surprised how how interactive they are, how engaging they become, because this is what they do in their home. This is what they do. They actually spend hours playing different kinds of games. And that was why Kenichiko was able to bring this to us, was able to make us understand the importance of introducing these games into the classroom. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for being part of the series. Just like we said, you've done something on board games, and today we are now going to look at how to gamify your classroom. That topic alone is broad in its own, and it's trying to make us understand the different things or different elements or different ways we can make the classroom look more engaging, make it more interactive, make it more results-oriented using games, or introducing the different elements of games into your classroom to make sure that you achieve everything that you want to achieve. Like I'm always saying, it is possible, and this is why we're doing it. So thank you everyone for joining us. Our speaker will be with us shortly, and she's going to be teaching us on this topic. She's going to be sharing her own experience. She's a game designer, and she has worked with different organizations on games, and she also understands the importance and understands how to integrate games into the classroom. So as you join us, just tell us where you're joining us from, where are you joining us from, and let us know if you were part of the last session and what you really enjoyed in the last session. So quickly, like we've said, how many of us know about gamification? Mali has shared his own experience, and he has told us that it's something that can happen in Benin Republic, yes, in the English classroom in Benin. A lot of us are joining from Costa Rica, some people are joining from Benin, some people are joining from different parts of the world. Thank you so much for being part of this session. Okay, I think she's having technical issues logging in, but that should be resolved. Okay, so before we go, and let us look at the different kind of elements that you can bring. Oh, okay, Mora, you were not around last time. Okay, so let me just do a recap of last. So what we did last was talk about different kinds of board games. I'm sure we know what board games are. Okay, so many of us know chess. Just raise up your hand if you know chess. Use the raising and use the raise the hands up icon. If you've heard about chess, you know about Scrabble, you know about Monopoly.
I know chess, okay. I know Scrabble. I can play Scrabble, but I cannot play chess.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, looking at Scrabble, we all know that, or you as an English teacher, you know that you can actually integrate or use Scrabble in your classroom to teach English, to teach spelling, to teach new vocabularies, or to even teach phonetics, the blending of different words or different sounds, to teach phonics, to teach the different sounds of letters, and even how to blend them, how to make sentences, how to spell correctly, how to do vocabulary and all that. So you can integrate Scrabble into your classroom and use it to achieve or to improve your English lessons. So this is that. So that was one aspect that we actually explored last week. And we did, the speaker was a game designer. He designs majorly board games. And he was able to show us different examples of board games. We were able to see different evolutions of board games. So it's different from the games that we even see at those points in time, or the way games were before. Now we're seeing different dimensions of games. It showed us how you can use board games to learn about planets, how you can use board games to learn about maths and all that. Okay, so that is just a recap of what we did last time. And today, like I said, we are looking at another dimension of gamification, looking at gamifying your classroom, how you can introduce game elements into your classroom, how you can be able to turn your classroom to be a game. And someone that is going to be doing justice to that topic is Miss Susanna. She's joining us already. So I think she's around. Hi, Suzanne, are you on the call?
Hi, guys. Yes, I am. I'm on the call.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for joining us. I understand that it can be very hectic even at this point, but thank you for taking out your time, out of no time, to talk to us and to tell us more about how to gamify your classroom. So I was just trying to do a recap of last session and doing an introduction of what we're going to be looking at today. So I guess you're ready for us and we can start.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Apologies for joining in late. I had issues. My system is even still loading at the moment. So I had quite a number of applications open up. So I'll just try to go straight into it. But before I do that, I'd like to meet America on this call.
Okay, so right now we have less than 10 people. Some people are still going to join us very soon.
Okay, so I'd probably just like to meet everybody just to have an idea of the kind of audience I'm speaking with in terms of what you do and maybe you know, reasons why, or maybe we'll go into the reasons why later, but at least let me meet everyone and know what they do. And then I can take the conversation up from there.
Okay, so can you tell us what you do in the chat? What exactly you teach? A lot of us are teachers, majorly, and major educators, but they can just tell you what they do and what they teach. So just drop your responses in the chat box. What do you do? Would like to meet you. Apparently, they had filled a form, a poll before you joined.
Okay.
Do you do? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Eric, I am Khadijat Morel. Just tell us what you do. Opeyemi, can you drop your responses in the chat box? What do you do? So personally, I teach, I work with special needs students.
Okay.
Okay, so we have teachers of English as a foreign language from Benin Republic. Okay, let me see you. We still have more people. I am Khadijat Opeyemi.
Hi.
Yeah, so what do you do?
I teach English language in commercial business school.
Thank you. Okay, what
and
country?
I'm happy to join you. Can you come again?
Yeah, where are you joining us from, please?
Yeah, I'm joining you from Benin Republic.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us this way from Benin Republic.
Thank you,
Mr. Eric. Okay, Mr. Eric Cicelio, are you there? Just let us know what you do and
hi there. I was typing in the chat. No, that's okay. I'm Eric from Costa Rica. I am an English teacher here. I have been teaching for 13 years. And well, I teach English as a second language, and I learned English as a second language as well. And I teach at secondary school, high school, and also a university.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, everybody else have asked, put the answers in the chat. Somebody, Khadijat teaches basic science. Opeyemi teaches French in Nigeria. So we are all teachers, basically, Suzanne.
All right, so that's really great to know. So I would introduce myself. My name is Susan. I'm the founder of Zanaza Entertainment, a gaming company, a social gaming company actually in Lagos, Nigeria. And today we'll be having a conversation about gamifying your classrooms. So I'm also going to be learning from you, as well as, you know, sharing from my own knowledge as well. I'm hoping that I actually have a software running that I want to show everyone, but I hope that, you know, I'll be able to do that before the end of the class. And if not, I will probably just play a video that shows something that I'm trying to what I'm trying to show you in terms of videos rather than the interactive software. Now, I would like to know, I think I like the chat function here. So it allows me to see everybody's thoughts. So I'll be throwing in some questions your way. Yeah, I'm trying that too, but I don't know why my video is not coming on. I'm trying to show my face. Yeah, so hopefully it does come on. So like I mentioned, okay, it's on now. Everyone can see my face. So my name is Susan, and I mean, I want to say I'm a tech sis, but I'm a game sis. So talking about gamifying your classroom, I want to know, I would like to find out, what do we all understand by gamifying the classroom, right? Because different people have different understanding of gamification, right? Or game-based learning. So I would like to understand what you understand by that, and how why you're even here, what you think you can learn from this. This would help in guiding that conversation. So like I said, a lot of us will be talking, we'll be having conversations with each other, because it also helps to open up our minds to, you know, different people's perspective of what gamification is. And as teachers, I'm sure you're already used to, you know, this method of learning, to ensure that you're also able to get your students to interact with you in return.
Thank you, Madam Susan. Thank you once again, Prof. I'm Morel from Benin.
Okay. Hi, Morel.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. What I can say is this is a nice topic, and we can learn more from different regions, different activities, to try to do what we were not doing in our context. We can localize and use the same activities to increase and improve our teaching learning skills. That's why I'm here.
Okay, so you're looking to improve, you know, learning for your students. All right.
Exactly.
All right. So I don't know if any other person wants to try or wants to type something, but I think I'll just go ahead so that we can maximize the time that we have. So there are two different schools of thoughts, right? There's the gamification school of thoughts, that's gamification of learning, and then there's game-based learning. And they're similar, but they're different, right? So gamification as a concept is the application of game elements. Okay, I can see, to make learning fun. Awesome. So gamification is the application of, you know, game elements to non-gaming environments, right? An example is education. So how can we, you know, ensure that we have like game elements, or leverage game design, leverage game elements to enhance learning in the classroom, right? That's gamification. Now, game-based learning involves people actually playing or interacting with a particular game, right? And so it also involves like the student actually playing the games, creating something with a game, or interacting with like a commercially produced game, right? But at the end of the day, in the process of doing that, they're learning along the way, right? That's what game-based learning is sort of like classified as. When you're looking at gamification, you're motivating students using game design, game elements, and I'm going to touch on what those elements are. Okay, so learn while playing. Yes. So I'm going to touch touch on what some of those elements are. You want to maximize enjoyment, you want to maximize engagement, you want to capture the interest of your learners, you want to inspire them to continue learning. As we've seen, you want to make them to make learning fun. You have seen the motto is learn while playing. Exactly. So at the end of the day, you're leveraging the power of games, whether you're using game design or game elements to amplify learning in your classroom, or you're engaging the students to play games. Either ways, the goal is for them to be able to learn. I asked the question about what kind of subjects you teach, because I also like to throw in like examples of gamification or game-based learning along the way, and I'll be mentioning some platforms that you can go and check and see how you can maximize those platforms for your classroom. So now we're talking about benefits. I don't know if there's anybody that is against gamification for the classroom. Is there anybody here that is against gamification for the classroom? Okay, so everyone here is here to learn, because I know that there's the argument for and against. So there are people who say things like, oh, the kids are soaked into like this digital world. Why do we have why should we focus on learning or gamifying learning? Let's use our traditional methods. But we've seen time and time again that in terms of the attention span of students, not even just of students, of humans generally, it's declining, right? You're talking to somebody, if you talk too much, at some point people lose interest. If you have like a long, or you send a long text, right, at some point people lose interest. I mean, that's why we have a lot more people on Twitter than we have on that's a lot of younger people on Twitter than we have on other platforms, because everybody's able to quickly pass your message across and move on. Right now, that's looking at the attention span of people. In terms of game-based learning and the benefits, we've mentioned, all the things that we've mentioned, but some of the benefits that I'm going to mention now, as things to consider as well. We have different types of students, and they have different ways in which they learn. The students who are special needs students, the students who they love to read, and there's some who don't like to read at all. There's some who learn by interacting. Personally, while I was in school, I like to be in class, because anything outside of class, or anything you tell me to do outside of class, opening my book to go and read one chapter outside of class, I'm not going to do it. And if you ask me questions during the exams, I'll only focus on the one that I learned in class. And if that particular topic is boring, I disconnect. So I used to just focus on the one that I was interested in and read those ones for exams. And if for whatever reason, the lecturer or the teacher decides to create questions around something I have no idea about, and they put so many questions there, I'm just going to stand up and, ask for, an opportunity to either do it again or just call in sick or something. But I used to focus on where my strength lied in, right? So gamification allows us to be able to infuse varied learning styles while teaching students. It also encourages creative expression, most especially for children. At a young age, your mind is, open to expressing or taking in information, and also trying to see how you can create around that. So gamification gives you that opportunity to think wide, to be expressive. It also allows you to assimilate faster, encourage interaction, boost memory, improve knowledge retention, improve problem solving, communication, and teamwork. I'm going to ask a question based on how you teach. How do you currently reward students for learning? Is there anyone that would like to go or, type in the comments?
Can you come again, please?
How do you currently reward your students for learning?
I think I'll just take a cue from there.
Hello?
Okay, Desiree, thanks.
Yes, thank you for the question. If I understood this, how to reward students for learning, like how to get them engaged.
Yeah,
Essentially,
so
I
let's
think
say, yeah, so when your students learn a particular subject that you're teaching, how do you currently reward them? How do you currently reward?
I think what I try to do is that the whole learning process becomes an interactive, funny, and motivating learning process so that they can find their interests in what they are learning. It's like to connect them with the objective of the lesson or the course, and then help them to see things different way, like how interesting it can be when they are into it and what they can actually do with it. I essentially use positive feedbacks, encouragement. We may bring some role play, like dramatize things to make all these less boring and less academic. Okay, and make sure that even if the learning environment is funny, it's still we have discipline. Okay, and this is essentially what we do. It's like I have to show learners that they are autonomous. They can be autonomous. They don't need to be spoon fed.
Yeah.
And they can take their responsibilities in their learning process, and that whatever you are learning, you are building yourself. Sometimes it works. Sometimes when they are completely demotivated, you get 2 or 3 students, and then you can proceed on with the lesson activity. You have to never give up and avoid negative, to get angry, all those stuff. That's what I used to do.
Okay, so that's good. I can see other comments as well that says with points, clap and praise, thumbs up. Sometimes I sing for them while they dance. Gifts, praise, hugs, thumbs up, claps, encouraging words. And these are great, right? But I know there are some students that might not exactly, want to come out, right? If you tell them to dance, it's like, you're putting me in front of my
sure.
Right, to dance, right? But there's no right or wrong way to reward students. I think at the end of the day, as teachers, one of our duties or our first first job is to understand, the students that you're teaching. Now I'm going to move into I'll go through a couple of examples and we can, share ideas. But before I do that, I would like to take something on like steps to gamify your classroom. Or maybe I should even start with, different types of games, right? We have physical games, we have board games, we have VR games, video games. And for video games, I've classified all the types of video games, which, we're talking about mobile, consoles, PC games. For physical games, it's easier to implement if, most especially when they don't require a lot of materials, right? And I'm bringing that in here because for Zanuza, that's my own organization, we actually I don't want to say we gamify corporate organizations, but we provide interactive and engaging games to corporate organizations, and we are able to deliver that physically, right? Some of the things that we're delivering physically are the things we're now converting to mobile games, right? And we can now reach more people and amplify what it is that we do. and I'm going to mention physical games first, because those are things that you can easily implement in class. So there are times where if you're teaching English, I know that there are a lot of people here who teach languages. Because when I asked, I saw a lot of English language or language for secondary school and universities. I saw what's it called now? I saw French language, and I'll give certain examples around that. But when we're talking about physical games that you're teaching, let's say you're teaching English, I know one of the games that people have used in the past. I understand that there's a science teacher here as well. So one of the games that I know that a lot of schools have used in the past is spelling bee, for example, for English, or to learn how to spell. Right? It could be that you're spelling a word in Latin, Greek, English, whatever it is. Right? And you see that for those who are very interested in, learning about words or teaching, languages, would want to try something like that, because for you to form a sentence, it begins with the words, right? You've seen things like for maths, people use different I don't know if any of us know close the box. Is there here close the box? Okay, I'll just mention it's a very historical game. It's similar to the game of Mancala, right? The game of Mancala has been in existence since time immemorial. If you're looking at close the box, it deals with numbers, it deals with multiplication and addition, most especially. Some people have added subtraction to that. So close the box is this box that has numbers 1 to 12, and the goal is every number that is there is supposed to drop down once you roll your dice, right? So you have your dice, and that's 2 dice, right? So when you drop it, the way, let's say you're playing Ludo, right? Once you drop that, it gives you 2 numbers. Now, if your goal is addition, and let's say you have 6, right? 6 plus 6 is 12. You drop 12. If you have 5, that's 3 and 2. You can decide that if you're looking at addition, you can decide to use 3 plus 2, 4 plus 1, right? Or just drop 5, right? The aim is that all the numbers must come down. So when people are trying to play that particular game, everyone is trying to close the box, and in the process, they are learning about addition, or learning how to add quickly as well. So you're already thinking, okay, if I get 10, what are the multiples of 10? What gives me 10, right? 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4. So you're already thinking about that when you're playing the game close the box. Other games that can be played in the classroom for other reasons, and some of them are even very popular, even amongst adults. For example, charades. Charades helps to increase participation, and also helps people to communicate, verbally and non-verbally. Now, how do you enhance communication in the classroom? If you wanted to make communication fun for people, I don't want to assume that everybody here can play charades. Is there anyone here that does not know how to play charades? Is there anyone here? Okay, so I assume everyone here can play charades. So how do you infuse that into your classroom? You're looking at the acting part or the description part. There are times where you can give some words to your students, right? And you tell them to describe that without saying anything. Now, the words you're giving to them are subject focused. So if you're teaching science, for example, whatever it is you're teaching in your curriculum, you can look at the words. I don't know. Yes, A+ educators. Can you give me a word or something around like what you teach? Maybe a topic.
Okay, like a topic, maybe verbs. I don't know English language. Does that work?
Okay, so I wanted her to talk about maybe like a type of plant. So let's say I don't know how natural disasters, right? How do you act that, right? Someone else, if you're trying to describe natural disasters, right? So when it comes to communication, verbal and non-verbal communication is very important for students to understand. It's not just, in the things that you say, right? If you're talking about exactly pollution, if you're talking about, those kind of things, you can infuse charades into your classroom and, give them words around that topic for the day and let them describe it to their classmates without, saying any word. Now, if you want them to describe the word, right, it means that they now have to start explaining a particular word without mentioning what that word is, or without using certain forbidden words, right? So if you say pollution, maybe you can say they cannot mention air, water, but they have to still describe that to their classmates. So they now have to find innovative ways to describe that, and you've been able to sort of enhance learning in your classroom just using a fun game that everybody would laugh about it. It's fun. You've been able to engage them, and you move on to the next. And these are things that don't require technology or a digital platform for you to use, right? If you're looking at something that helps with speed and accuracy, there's cup stacking. Cup stacking is basically building a pyramid with cups. They're having competitions around that, in the world, where you're just trying to get students to be more engaged, to be fast, to be able to focus more, right? So there are cup stacking videos. If you just type, stacking competition, right? You will see competitions around the world where even people get to battle from different countries around the world, and children battling, and they're stacking cups. We have puzzles, of course, jigsaw puzzles and other types of puzzles that help improve, it helps with patience, right? If you're looking at soft skill, it also helps you look at the big picture. What's the bigger picture in the scheme of things if you're playing, jigsaw? How can you put all of that together? It helps with like cognitive skill, So I'm just mentioning physical games that can be used or infused immediately into, your classroom while you're learning. And everyone, a lot of students would, love that, just find things that you're even already used to and find a way to bring that into your classroom. And it's not digital, you can also explore that area as well, because I know a lot of us want to explore, we've seen all the digital platforms, how can we get into this digital wave, right? But if your school, because I know that there are people that require, or teachers that require approvals for certain things or certain tools that they use in the classroom, right? For the physical games, it doesn't require anything much. So it's easier to pitch that to your school, for example. Now, in terms of steps to a gamified classroom, I'd like to mention a few. Okay, so then. So when it comes to games, first things first, there's no game without a set of rules. So whatever it is that you want your students to learn, you need to be able to set the rules to all of that, and you need to be very clear on the rules that you're setting. Now, you also have to identify, let me even start from number one. What do you want to gamify, right? There are people here who are teaching science, languages, whatever area you want them. I saw a virtual Bible club, right? What exactly are you looking to gamify, right? Because like I mentioned before, gamification is about, motivation and engagement, most especially. So if you're focusing on, the areas in your classroom, what are your students struggling with? What elements are lacking? What are they having troubles with? Now, I'm going to mention, maybe when I get to a particular app, I'll start mentioning like certain points that require, or lets us understand gamification more. And then I'll also look at some things for game-based learning. So like I mentioned, identify what you want to gamify. The next is know your students. I think I've said that, quite a number of times this. Okay, gamify Bible verses. All right, so I know I've mentioned know your students like a lot of times. Now, when you're teaching in your classroom, what are your students already playing? That's very important to note. Here in Nigeria, with my own understanding of a lot of kids that I've come across, parents have also asked me, oh, my kids play a lot of games. I've shouted about it. I've tried to, put, different, what's the word now? I've tried to put, stop them from playing games at a certain time. I've tried to put, certain rules in place, but I don't know if it's working. So how can I channel this energy into something more productive? I've gotten, those kind of requests. And when I look at what some of these kids are doing, I'm just amazed, right? I see some of them using Fortnite creatives, some of them play Fortnite, some of them using Minecraft, Roblox, to create, right? So what exactly are your students, using? I have a niece who, as soon as she's back from school and she does her homework, she's already going to Roblox. She watches a lot of Roblox videos, right? And she has classmates who also use Roblox as well. So for a teacher, for their own teacher, for example, now, the teachers to understand that, if majority of my students are, using the Roblox platform, how can I, maybe engage them in what they're already using, right? So that I can make learning fun for them. Since they're already using it anyways, you're not going to force them to start learning a new software, right? There's some people who they cannot sit still for too long, right? They want to stand up physically and move around and engage in some activities. What kind of activity can I introduce into the classroom that will be a fun experience for these students and would make learning fun for them? That's something to look at. Another is the set of rules. Like I mentioned, all games have rules. All games have rules, and you need to be able to share at the beginning of the class. Once you've identified that, okay, this is the area I want to gamify, and your students, the next question you're asking yourself is, okay, so if I want to do this, what kind of rules can I put in place so that students are not going overboard? Because you also need to be able to manage what's going on in the classroom, right? So you need to have your set of rules. You also need to keep it flexible. How do you want the students to progress, right? When they're playing certain games, right? There's no one way to learn, and you need to be able to infuse that into whatever it is that you are doing. Please give me a minute. I'm trying to sign into this platform that I would like to show you as well. Okay. So the question is, if you had like a gamification platform, what's when they're earning experience points, what are the different ways in which they can get those points, right? If they are going to progress to different levels, right? What are the ways for them to progress through those levels? Without, does it have to be, it doesn't have to be like one way. Like I said, you have to also take into consideration the students. So you also have to be flexible as a teacher, look at the different learning styles and see how that can be infused. If you work at the school and you can get other teachers come together to see how they can also gamify that, you can make learning fun and see how you can also infuse, just do some cross class goals, right, from different subjects into what it is that you're teaching, so that learning is consistent for the students. I know some people might say, maybe I'm just interested in just mine, but you can also introduce other subjects or other teachers into this whole process. So your students look forward to coming to school, first of all. Then you also need to be able to track progress, right? All these methods that I'm using in my classroom, how has that been working, right? How does that, translate for me? Are students actually learning? Are students being engaged? Those are things that you will need to, trying to reduce this volume. Okay. So like I said, how are they being engaged? And then, you look at that, and over time, you're able to also try different things out. So I'll call that A/B testing. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to try this, what results am I getting? If I'm going to try that, what results am I getting? And that's very, very important. So you, at the end of the day, understand what works best for your class. Because no matter how anyone comes to you to say, oh, you tried this one, this is what I'm using in my classroom, you can try it and it won't work for your classroom. So you have to be able to test and see what exactly works for your classroom. Now I'll go into the examples. I know I gave examples of different platforms. I mentioned physical games because those are things that you can easily start with at the moment. When we also look at board games, now I know at the beginning I mentioned game-based learning, and I said gamification and game-based are a bit different. So game-based learning is using an already existing game, but a game that has that in the process of playing, people get to learn about a particular thing. And I mentioned close the box for mathematics. But for gamification, it's different. And I'm going to use the example of Duolingo. How many of us here know Duolingo? If you do, just put the an emoji in the comment section, on the chat section.
Sorry, please, what did you call it? I didn't even get the name. What did
Duolingo. Let me just type it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's a platform that focused on so a lot of people know that. That's awesome. So that's a platform that uses gamification for learning, right? And some of the features of Duolingo, I'm going to mention that to you as well. So we'll just break that down using the Duolingo app. Now, when you're playing Duolingo, you select what course it is that you want to learn, right? If you're looking at French, or you're looking at learning, whatever language. For me, when I started using Duolingo, I wanted to learn French. And you can see that it suggests, so your curriculum is already, whoever designed the French course, right, has put in their curriculum, right? They've put in, so if I wanted to say je suis, Susan, right? I will put, or je m'appelle, I'll try to match the word to be sure that I can make a sentence, right? If it's asking me, what does boy mean in French, it will put a couple of options, but the method of doing that is fun, right? You can see even the art comes out and speaks to you as well, because when you look at it, it's the environment already looks fun to play with. So you're leveraging elements used in games, right, to create that. You can see that even afterwards, there are times where they will test you and say, make this sentence, right? It leverages voice as well. So it can tell you a word in or speak, right? So it can tell you a word and it expects you to type that word out, right? To be sure that you were able to get that feedback, right? And you can give or you return, that feedback as well. So when I'm looking at, I'll go through the different features or the different elements. We have the quiz, which is really to test what it is that you have learned. You can also see, streak. And what does that mean? So when I come into the app, if I'm supposed to do 7 days straight, or I've committed, right? My goal is to learn French in the next 7 days. I need to visit the app every single day. Every single time I miss a day, I have to start my streak from 0, right? So it means I need to be able to move. I need to be able to at least open the app every day. Now, that is one way to get me to commit. Because if I see my streak increasing, now you can also see that a lot of times when people use streak, they use fire, right? Almost like trying to get you to say, you're fire, right? And there are a lot of applications that use it. Even the Bible app, YouVersion uses the streak method as well. They've also implemented gamification aspects into the platform. You can see one of the best examples for gamification for me is Google Maps. I review a lot of places using Google Maps, right? And I have to rate, the place I just visited. And for every single time I put in my review, I get, points. If I put pictures, I get more points. If I just do only the rating, I don't get as much points as if I actually wrote a review. Now, all these points accumulate to a point where I'm moving from one level to the other. So right now I'm a level 7 going on level 8, right? And for level 7, once you're level 5, you start getting certain types of perks. So everybody wants to at least make it up to level 5. Now, and I'm using Google Maps because, like I said, it's my favorite app to use as an example when I'm talking about gamification. Whenever, and of course it's created by Google, everyone wants to be affiliated with Google. Now, I've reviewed places and I've been able to meet people who also review places like me, people who don't want other people to experience what we experienced. I remembered in, I think it was 2015, I used to work at a company called Concept Nova. We're into vehicle security solutions. We also had another company under the group. I think it was Rosapon. Yeah, it was also not a fintech company. It was a finance company. And as a market analyst, I used to move from city to city to try and do my research, get information out that would help us with the kind of products that we were developing. And I went to Warri in Nigeria, and I've never been to Warri in my life. From the moment I left the airport to the moment I got to, I started looking for hotels to stay in. Now, we didn't have so many people reviewing at the time. So it was very difficult, deciding which place to go. So I would go to, I'll just look at if once we pass, any hotel I see would, try to visit. So those were hotels close to the airport. A lot of them were filled up. There was no space. Eventually, I found one, and that one I found, I just managed it. It wasn't, exactly good enough. I realized we didn't even have a lot of reviews for places to eat, places to like, all of those kind of things. And that was really what fueled, my giving reviews. Because I was like, if I had someone, or if I was able to go to Google Maps, say food places in Warri, and it brought out, food places, I'll look at those who had like high ratings, and that's probably where I'll go to eat. Right. So that was how I started. And I'm using this. I'm going to take it back into, the classroom, or how to gamify your classroom. I'll take that back in shortly. Now, based on the ratings I got, or based on the ratings I was able to give businesses, or based on the fact that I was able to review. And when I review, I do extensive reviews. So if I write a very short review, I don't make as much points as when I write a very long review. Now, when I'm reviewing, I review about the place. I review about how comfortable it is, how it looks, what the price is, and any other experience that is important for other people, so that they don't make or get into the same or have the same experience that I had at that location that I went to, that time when I went to Warri. And the more I did that, the more, I was accumulating points. Then Google decides, we're going to bring the local guide program to Lagos. So for everybody who reviews, you get to meet other people like you are reviewing places. Now, we also were able to host meetups with other people who were reviewing. So there are some of us who like to review places for the love of food, or for the places to go to. But there's some people who love to review for accessibility, right? Is this place wheelchair friendly, right? And people review based on different reasons, and they will host meetups, and all of us just come together, and then they start rewarding us as well. So you would see that those who have a certain level, or I've gotten to a certain level, have a particular shape of medal, right, in the app. You can see that everyone's like, oh, mine has like 7 arcs, and somebody else has like 5 arcs, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, my own medal is different. It gives me that form of satisfaction. Now, are they paying me for it? No, they're not paying me for it, but I feel rewarded. Now, of course, they have gone the extra mile to host events that bring in local guys. They recognize us at their events. I've gotten plaques and awards. I've also worked on some of, or helped to test some of their products as well. When they were trying to launch the Keke navigation in Lagos, I was one of the testers for that. They just called, local guides who had very high scores, or were at a very high level, and broke us into teams to go and test what they had produced for Google Maps. And we went around Lagos. It was a wonderful experience. At the end of the day, they rolled it out to consumers, and just that satisfaction of, oh, see what I did, and see it in public, it was good enough for us, right? And they've been able to leverage gamification to do that, right? To make me feel like, oh my God, I'm doing something that is part of like greater good, but also rewarded with quite a number of things, even in the application. Now, bringing this back to Duolingo, for example, I'm using Duolingo because it's languages, and you can also relate to some of the things there and use it for whatever subject it is that you're teaching, whether it's science, whether it's you're teaching about religion, or you're teaching about whatever it is, right? There's just certain elements that makes it fun for whoever it is that is engaging with an application, right, to really enjoy learning and coming back. So I mentioned the streak. If I know that my streak is going to go back to 0, I will most likely want to come back to the app so that I don't miss a day. And if I miss a day, I start again from the beginning, right? We also have things like leaderboards. Once you see how you stack up against other players, okay, I need to improve this. It's healthy competition, right? I play a certain game, say Angry Birds. I made maybe Angry Birds is not the best example to use. Let me use a game where I have to look at what others. I think Duolingo has leaderboards as well in some of their challenges, right? So they give you a particular challenge, and then maybe based on time, speed, right, based on how you answer it, you're not able to see how you stack up against other people. Now, a platform I can also use as well confidently is the Kahoot platform. Kahoot focuses on quiz, and you can, when you use Kahoot in your classroom, for example, you're trying to test your students, but you want to make that test really fun. You put up your quiz, and it lets your students, log in through their devices if they're allowed to use devices in their school. And as they answer it, depending on the speed and accuracy, so that means if they get the question right, they get points. But if they get the question right faster than the next person, they get more points, right? So that sort of adds to it. And then right there in the classroom, they can see who is topping the leaderboard, who is above me. Am I 6th in on this leaderboard, right? And how can I quickly go up and down? So you can see how as the leaderboard is changing, and it is so much fun. I use that also for corporate trainings, and everyone is like, everyone can see who is this person, who is that. So everyone is sort of trying to collaborate, or just talk, or just see how this person is even able to, get past them on the leaderboard, right? So leaderboards are important in gamification, right? If you have a platform that you're probably building, or you're trying to leverage a platform that already exists to put in your course or make learning fun using that platform. So you don't exactly have to go and build yours if if you look for other platforms, if you search for platforms that allows you to embed your course in, right? You can take advantage of these elements and make sure that your course has that, so that it's fun for whoever it is that is taking your course. Now, this is for those who are looking at gamification from a digital point of view, right? You also have, badges, right? If you probably have gotten to a certain level, or there's a certain, so let me give this example. There are times where, I don't know if there are games that you've played, if there are people who play games here, I don't know if there are games that you've played where maybe you're supposed to type a correct sentence, and based on what you're typing, you can see somebody climbing a tree. Now, if you miss anything, the person falls off the tree, right? That is a way of gamifying, something, or gamifying a subject or a course, bringing that into, the classroom. There's a game that I played that I think was also a trivial game. I can't remember the name of the game now. And for every time I got the quiz right, I was able to punch my opponent. Now, for those people who love fighting games, it's like, oh, wow, that's interesting. So if I get the answer right, I punch this person. If the person gets the answer right, they punch me, right? Of course, they're not punching me directly, they're punching my character in the game. And they sort of like been able to use that to make it interesting for people answering trivial questions around a particular topic. But there are times where you probably want to put in like extra challenges or extra, like a quest for something, right? Once you're able to achieve that quest, you can give the person a badge. The quest can even be that, oh, you moved from one level to the other. So I moved from level 1 to level 2. So you give me like a badge of honor, right? Or I don't know if people can help me out here. If there are games that you've played where you got a specific type of badge of honor, right? You earned a badge for maybe being nice to somebody, or you earned a badge for being able to answer very fast, or the fact that you've been able to tackle 10 difficult questions, you get a badge, something like that. So those are like gamification elements that can be used if you're looking at having your own digital platform, or if you're leveraging a digital platform. So if you're going to leverage a platform that already exists, you should ask for features like this, right? Do they have leaderboards? Do they have like a reward system, right? Can I set like a quiz, something to test the knowledge of my students? Are there challenges outside of what they've even learned, or outside of that quiz that gives them like extra points? It's like your take-home assignments. That's what I call it, right? If I have like extra, like an extra quest, you don't have to answer it. You can just do the bare minimum, the basic, and move on to the next, right? Or you can decide to do like an extra quest, which is like your assignment that you do outside of class. If you look at experience points as well, points help you to know how your students are accumulating knowledge, or mastery of that particular subject, right? The more points you have, the more experience points you have, the more you're able to know that, okay, this person is actually making progress in what subject they are learning. I've mentioned levels and progress as well. So I don't know if a lot of us play Candy Crush, but Candy Crush is one of the most downloaded games in the world. You can also see, in terms of progress, they've created like this map where you keep going. It's like there's this track that is like a zigzag track, right? So as you keep playing each level, you see that you're progressing. It's like you're going through a journey, right? That's a map. That's a form of progress, right? You can see that progress as you're playing each level. For goal tracking as well, you can get people to set a goal for themselves. What's the goal for learning this particular course, right? Every teacher has a learning objective, right? What do you want people to have learned at the end of this course? So that should also be infused into whatever platform it is that you're using, or you decide to use, in the future, or you decide to build. So in terms of platforms, I always recommend platforms like Kahoot. For my organization, I know we're building a couple of things that can be used for both corporate organizations and also schools as well. As soon as that is out, I would probably send that to Light, and probably she can share with you guys. So that's a platform that allows you to just infuse different things and leverage like the games that are on it to aid learning. But one that I can recommend at the moment is Kahoot, and Kahoot for educators, I think, is not as expensive. You'd have to check the price of that. Let me type it here. You can check that out if you don't already know about it. Yes, it's the main engine or the main concept of Kahoot was built around quiz, but you can actually use it for a lot more than just quiz, right? You using the elements that they have for each of those questions. It can be that you need to spot something, right? You're trying to show maybe images or show videos. There are a lot of things that you can sort of do with that platform beyond just the fact that you're trying to set up a quiz. Now there's okay, my lights have gone off. There is a there's a game that we played for a corporate organization. It's called Who Done It. It basically allows you to guess. So it's a game of perception. It allows you to guess. I don't know. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, you can. You can.
Okay. So it allows you to guess who you think amongst your friends or amongst your colleague is wrote something or has gone through an experience, right? And we leverage the Kahoot platform to do that. So people can, they drop their comments before and we're able to put it up, and then everyone has to guess who they think did that or who they think that happened to. They also have things like word cloud, where if you're trying to get feedback from your classroom and you don't want people to have their names on it, right? It forms like this nice cloud of people's opinion on a particular subject in class, and you can use that as well, and that's all on Kahoot, right? So other games, that you can use, things like, guess the country, guess the animal, guess, you can use those kind of, guessing games as well. Another game that I really love is the game of Scattergories. Scattergories is a game that allows you to, like if you were teaching now, you give a list of, and I'm going to use, I don't know if this is science or geography. Okay, maybe geography. All right, so let's say you want people to write something with the letter M, right? The topic is Earth and space. You give them categories like, rock, landforms, weather, the solar system, and you tell them, leverage the letter or write the letter M for these categories. When you say M for rocks, right, what comes to mind when you say M for landforms, when you say M for weather or for the solar system? Now, if I was going to play a game with everyone here now and I say, okay, give me the letter L, right, for animals and TV shows, and I ask you to give me the word L for titles that people hold that starts with the letter L, you're going to start thinking, right? What comes to your mind? When you're talking animals, what comes to your mind? Things that you can find in space that starts with the letter L. You start to think about what you've just been taught in class. Now you can do that manually, or you can leverage, platforms. I know that Categories has a board game, and they also have like a mobile game. I'm just going to type this here. So I don't know if are we still on track? Have I lost people here?
No, we're still with you.
Okay. So basically, when you're looking at, like I said, game-based learning or gamification, those are the things that we're talking about, and the features that you also need to take into consideration. Some of these gamification features that I've mentioned, you can also find a way to maybe create it manually for now. If you can't use a digital platform, you can decide, okay, how can I make leaderboards fun, right? And the great thing about game-based learning or gamification, right, is the fact that at the end of the day, you can also get your students involved in it, right? You don't have to do everything. You can find a way to get your students to also take some form of responsibility to create or to enhance learning or make learning fun as well. And that's the beautiful thing about gamifying your classroom. I would touch on sandbox or open world games quickly before I round up, and then also take questions if you have any question. I mentioned before that games like Roblox, Fortnite, Creative, and Minecraft are being used for like open worlds for people to learn. I would see if I can let me get the link to it so that you can watch a YouTube video around Minecraft. And I'm of course talking about Minecraft because I am certified in Minecraft. So Minecraft it's an open world platform that of course was a game. And so when I'm talking about sandbox, you can create in that particular using that particular game. You can see different people creating different stories, so it pushes you to be creative. You can create your own world, and all of that in Minecraft. Now there's this beautiful classroom topic. I think it was around Black Lives Matter, and it was used as a form of learning in class. And I wanted to sort of show us that, because the Minecraft has learning like learning curriculums that you can use for different subjects, be it science, maths, whatever it is. They have they've created certain categories that you can sort of look at and probably use for your classroom. But I'm trying to get this out. Let me quickly type this. So it was like a Black Lives Matter using Minecraft, and what they did in Minecraft was to use leaders who have fought for independence or have spoken out, right? To talk about like social justice, and all of that to students. And I think let me get that video. I'll just drop the link before the end of or I'll send that to Light so that I don't delay videos here. My system is, just give me a minute. Okay. Light, I'm going to send this to you. You can probably just play the beginning parts. I don't want my system to I have like very heavy apps opened on my system at the moment. Okay, so I've checked out. Oh, yeah. Sorry?
I guess. Okay, are you able to retrieve it already? If not, you can send me the link. I'll share it on the group chat later.
Okay, I've sent you the link.
Okay.
I sent you the link, yes, Minecraft Education Edition for the Black Lives Matter movement. And it was how they were able to create using Minecraft. And the great thing about like open world is you can also give a task to your students and tell them to, just imagine or open up their creativity, right? If you want them to, when you're teaching a particular topic, how do you want them to imagine whatever it is that you're you just finished talking about in the classroom. You can give them an assignment and tell them to go recreate it in Minecraft, right? Or Roblox. So that's like, the beautiful thing about open world games or platforms like Minecraft. You can use that to aid learning in the classroom. So I'm just going to round up here, right? At the end of the day, like I mentioned, you have to look at what works best for you. Take into consideration your school, what policies they have in place, what is available to you in terms of tools. If you think some tools are more expensive for you, how else can you replicate that physically or manually, right? And you also leverage games that already exist, like board games or some mobile games as well, right? And can you sort of infuse that into your classroom, right? Those are ways for you to just sort of look at and see how to take learning into the classroom, leveraging products that other people have created, or gamification platforms that can aid your course outline or curriculum. So at the end of the day, the goal is to ensure that the young kids or adults, if you're or teenagers or younger adults, right, if you're teaching in the universities, it's at the end of the day is to make it fun for them. And also, like I said, it's very important that you also get their buy-in, so they are very involved in the learning process as well. Yes, so I think these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to share a few things about how to gamify your classroom, and hopefully you get to use some of this in your classroom as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
Wow, thank you so much, Suzanne. Like seriously, that was really, what can I say? I was not expecting that kind of lecture. I'm so sure that if we were to do this, you had a lot of information. Thank you so much. Kindly let us know what you think about today. Your feedback. Is this something you can use in your classroom? You talked about a lot of things, and the takeaway for me is know what your students are playing. It's very important as teachers. Most times you always feel, what are they doing? They're just playing, they're just doing anything. But if you're able to understand what your students are playing, you will now know how to be able to design your learning or to design your lesson to be able to meet their needs or to fit in the kind of games that they play. For example, if you know the kind of rules of PS4, or because I'm going to now take it upon myself to learn these rules, because I don't really put I've just recently I started learning about gamification. I started learning about the games they play. I know about Minecraft. I've now learned about Roblox and all that. But if I'm able to understand the way the students play and what they play and the rules of what they play, I'm able to design my lesson that way. And you can see that they are able to they relate with it more, and you know that understanding or comprehension take place. So let us just know what you think. Do you have any question, comment from anybody before we call it a day? Thank you so much, Susan Adenui. Kindly drop, if you want to drop your contacts, or drop your website. For Zanuza, a lot of people may want to find out to make more inquiries of about what you do and how you do it. I'm sure a lot of people have questions and they may want to reach out to you later on. And so just kindly drop your information and drop your contacts. Okay, so you can reach out to Suzanne at zanuza.com. You can also check for Zanuza Entertainment online. They are into games. Yes, they are into everything games. If you want to organize something in your school, you can actually reach out to them for ideas. You can reach out to them to come to your event to make it more engaging, lively, and interactive. You can also reach out to us for speaking sessions in your school. And I'll be dropping the link to, let me quickly drop the link to the WhatsApp group in case you're not on the WhatsApp group yet. Like I said, this is an initiative of A+ educators, and we're looking at gamification in the classroom, helping teachers to use games or to gamify their classroom for effective learning, teaching and learning process. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'll also be sharing the YouTube link that she shared. Thank you so much, Cliff. Oh, thank you so much, Cliff. I'm so sorry for keeping the Kenyans. Nancy actually had to reach out to me that is already it's already to 11, it's already 11 p.m. over there in Kenya. Thank you so much, Cliff, for joining us. I understand the sacrifice that you had to Okay, I look forward to seeing everybody next week Wednesday. Also, we're going to be looking at how to practical steps now as teachers, how to gamify your lesson, and that will be taken by Cliff Carr from Kenya. It's going to be taking us through the process on how to do that, your lesson plan, starting from your lesson plan. How do you actually make it? How can you, in just the same way Susan has explained today, but now he's going to give an in-depth one. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. You can join our WhatsApp platform, like I said, be part of it as educators. Then also, quickly, I need to share this poll before we go. Okay. Just to I need to get feedback from everybody. What do you think? Is it something did you enjoy your class? Let us know what you think. Okay, we have 9 participants left. Was it insightful? Did you get your objective? Gloria said she wanted to learn much about fun. Okay, thank you so much. Everybody else, you can fill the poll. What do you think? Is it something did you enjoy your session? And is this something, are you looking forward to the next session too? Okay, on that note, it's already 8:30 p.m. here in Nigeria. I understand it's approximately 11 p.m. in Kenya and other states. I think Costa Rica should be in the afternoon now. Thank you so much for being part of the session, and I look forward to seeing everybody next section. Thank you so much. Don't forget to tell people about the APES educators, and also don't forget to make sure that you are using everything you've learned in your classroom. Please, that is very important. That is going to make this lesson or make the learning you just had more fulfilling. So practice what you've done. She mentioned a lot of apps. We have Kahoot. We have, I have to write that. We have categories. I'm going to check that out. I don't know about this. It's a new one for me. I know about Kahoot. You can also check out quizzes. You can check out Quizlet. You can check out, Minecraft. These are apps that you can integrate in your classroom to make it more engaging and to ensure that you're having gamification process. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Suzanne. I'm so grateful for giving us this opportunity and making us learn a lot, because for free. Thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, and bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye.
See you very soon, I hope.
Yeah.
Bye bye, likes. Now
bye. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you very, very much. I'm really grateful.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Next time, bye.